What's going on, you guys? It's the Michael Myers. Welcome back to a brand new video. Today I'm going to be showing you guys my top 10 horror movie remakes of all time. So yeah, I've been trying to do this video for quite some time now. As you guys remember, I did do a top 10 horror movie sequels of all time not too long ago. So if you guys are interested in that, you guys can go check that out. But yeah, today I'm going to be giving you guys my top 10 remakes. I will also be doing a top 10 worst remakes and maybe a top 10 worst sequels of all time. So be on the lookout for that. Like always, this is always my personal opinion when it comes to these top 10 videos. So we're going to get started here. And like always, you guys could leave down your favorite remakes in the comments down below. So we're going to get started here, you guys, with number 10 on my list. And that's going to be The Crazies. So yeah, this is a film that always caught my attention. I was always curious about this movie simply because of the poster. This movie did come out back in 2010 and it's a really good remake. And I actually have not seen the original. I know the original is by George A. Romero, but I thought this was a really good movie, you know, and for it to be a remake, I think they did a pretty good job, man. Of course, you know, with the zombie apocalypse and stuff like that. They did a good job, you know. I haven't seen it in a while, but I do remember really liking this film. So, yeah, and I really do like this poster, like I said. But, yeah, that's my number 10, The Crazies. If you guys have not seen it, definitely recommend it. I'm definitely going to try to check out the original as well. So, that's my number 10, The Crazies. Number 9, Dawn of the Dead. Now, I know this is a lot of people's favorite remake of all time. You know, usually it's like on people's top 5, a little bit more up on their list. But it made it to number 9 on my list. Pretty damn good remake, man. The original Dawn of the Dead is probably one of my favorite zombie films of all time. I actually might do like a top 10 zombie films of all time soon. But I thought this was a really damn good remake, man. I like how they kind of switch it up. It's not really the same as, you know, the 1978 version. Really great job on the effects, you know, it's just a really gory film. And I think the characters, well, the cast, they definitely do a good job on carrying this movie. But yeah, man, Dawn of the Dead, I always find myself watching this movie, you know, when it's on TV, like during Halloween time or whatever. But yeah, man, pretty cool movie. I believe it is Zack Snyder. But yeah, man, Dawn of the Dead, pretty damn good remake. So yeah, that's my number 9. All right, now we move on to number 8. And that's going to be the 2009 Friday the 13th remake. Now, in the beginning, I wasn't the biggest fan of this movie. But, you know, I've seen it so many times throughout the years. And it's actually kind of grown on me, you know. In my personal opinion, I think the best thing about this movie is Derek Mears himself as Jason Voorhees, man. I think he's definitely one of the better Jasons we've gotten, right behind Kane Hodder. And I personally think that this is one of the better remakes, you know, that came out, you know, under the whole Platinum Dooms, Michael Bay remakes. But, yeah, you know, the story could have been better, but overall, man, I always have a good time with this remake. I like how they kind of try to implicate, like, the first 4 original movies into this one remake. Pretty good job, man. Like I said, it's not a perfect movie, but I really always seem to enjoy it, you know, when I watch it. Even though I do have a few issues with it, it's still a pretty decent remake, man. And like I said, it's probably, you know, the better remake that came out, you know, during, you know, the late 2000s, mid 2000s. But for sure, man, Friday the 13th, 2009 remake, a lot of people's favorite remake from that time. But yeah, that's that. Next on the list is the 2013 Evil Dead remake. Now, I've seen a lot of people not really be a big fan of this movie. And I do get it, you know. This is the main reason I've always liked Evil Dead is because, you know, it's just so different than the original movie. I know there's a few things they, you know, remake in this one, like, you know, the tree scene, the branch scene. You know, of course, this is, we got Sam Raimi and Bruce Campbell as the executive producer. So it was pretty cool that they were on board for this. You know, this is definitely a pretty gory film. And I've heard that, you know, they kind of try to use, you know, like the old school routine, you know, with the practical effects. I know there's CGI here and there, but I think they definitely pretty good job on, trying to use practical effects and stuff like that. And I don't think a lot of people's main issue with this is, Ash is not in it. In my opinion, I don't think they really needed to remake the Ash character. Of course, we get introduced to Mia, which I think she did a pretty good job, man. I think she carried on the movie pretty good. I do like the kills as well. But, yeah, man, and I've always wanted to see a follow-up to this movie. Some people kind of consider Evil Dead Rise the follow-up, which is a good comparison, but of course, it's kind of its own thing. But pretty cool, man. I've always liked the 2013 remake. I think it came out in good timing as well, man. I think if it would have came out like during this craze, it wouldn't have been as great. But I'm glad, it came out when it did. Pretty damn good remake. If you guys have not seen the remake Evil Dead, go check it out, man. Definitely recommend it. Next on the list, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre remake, the 2003 remake, which in my opinion is the best remake that came out, under the whole Platinum Dooms remakes. I don't know, man. This one I've always loved. I think I've seen some people like this one more than the original. And I think for me, it's right behind the original, man. It's definitely in my top 3 Texas Chainsaw Massacre movies of all time. Like I said, it's not like a complete copy of the original. They kind of did its own thing. One of the great things about this film is the sheriff, man. I think he carried on the movie pretty damn good, so yeah, that's one of the main things that stood out from this movie is the sheriff. I think he did a pretty badass job. And even Leatherface, man, definitely more brutal, more bloody movie than the original was, of course. But yeah, man, I happen to always enjoy this movie when I watch it, and I'm surprised they did a follow-up, with the Texas Chainsaw at the beginning, which is the prequel, which is not that bad of a movie neither. But yeah, man, I wish they made remakes like these more often. But yeah, that's my number 5. All right, number 5 on my list. I mentioned Texas was my number 5, but we're actually at number 5 now, and that is gonna be the Hills Have Eyes remake. Now, it's been a while since I seen this one. But I really enjoyed the heck out of this one, man. It's definitely a way more intense movie, more violent, more gory for sure. I know they also did a sequel. I think this came out back in 2006. But yeah, man, definitely pretty damn good movie. Like I said, I like, the kills. Definitely, like I said, more of a violent movie. Even the soundtrack, man. I think they did a pretty good job. The score. Of course, Wes Craven's classic film, The Hills Have Eyes. But yeah, this is one that I should definitely rewatch because it's been a while since I've seen it. But I do remember really liking this one. And they also made a Hills Have Eyes Part 2, which wasn't that great. But yeah, man, The Hills Have Eyes. Definitely recommend this one. I know The Hills Have Eyes was like the original responsible for like the whole Cannonball movies. And yeah, man, the remake was not bad at all. So definitely Hills Have Eyes had to make my list. Number 4. Now, I know this is a lot of people's favorite remake of all time, or it's definitely in their top 3. But it actually made it to number 4 for me. And that is John Carpenter's The Thing. Definitely a great movie, a masterpiece. I actually have never seen the original. I don't think so. But growing up, man, I thought this was actually the original. I thought John Carpenter was the one who came out with the original, because I know they made a remake like in 2013, if I'm not mistaken. But this is such a great movie, man. Kurt Russell, of course, carries on the movie pretty damn good. A lot of creepy shit in here too, man. Yeah, this one's one of those that kind of, some scenes always just stick out to me, man. The whole practical effects and stuff like that. Great job, man. I think this is such a classic film. It's another one that I haven't seen in a while, but yeah, man, it's definitely one of John Carpenter's best work for sure, man. Right behind Halloween. But yeah, this is actually the more popular one. This is definitely one that outshined the original movie, and I think a lot of people can agree with that, man. That this is like one of the only remakes that was better than the original. Pretty much the next films from now on are, in my opinion, better than the originals. But The Thing, man, great film. Definitely love this film, The Thing. Can't wait to rewatch that. All right, now we're on my top 3. Number 3, which in my opinion is kind of a underrated remake, kind of a forgotten movie. Night of the Living Dead, 1990. Such a great film, man. In my opinion, I know a lot of people kind of prefer the original, the 68 version than this one. But in my opinion, I think this one is a little better. Simply because, you know, I've seen this one the most. And I don't know, man. Something about this, every time I watch it, you just get that classic 80s, 90s feel to it, you know. More of an intense film for sure, man. They definitely stepped up their game. I believe this was directed by Tom Savini, and it's pretty cool that, you know, George A. Romero came back to write the movie, if I'm not mistaken. So that's pretty cool, man, that we had the original creator come back to do the remake, and it's such a pretty damn good remake. You know, we got Tony Todd in this as well. A lot of creepy moments in here, man. I've always enjoyed Night of the Living Dead, the remake. Like I said, kind of underrated. It's not one of those that, you know, more of the popular remakes. But if you guys have not seen it, man, I definitely recommend it. Such a great film, man. Like I said, there's some moments in here which it makes me feel that I like it better than the original. But of course, the original is a classic, man, and, you know, was the birth of you know, these zombie movies. So yeah, man, I can't wait to do like a top 10 zombie movies of all time. This one will definitely be in my top 3, top 5 maybe. But yeah, man, Night of the Living Dead, the 1990 remake, pretty cool. Number 2, which is probably the remake I've seen the most out of these, if I'm not mistaken, House of Wax. I have not seen the original. I do own the original, but I actually have not had the chance to check it out. But this movie, man, such a great movie, man. It just really reminds me of, you know, the mid 2000s. I'm not sure if this was under, you know, the whole Platinum Dooms remakes. Can't really remember, but like I said, it really reminds me of just, you know, the mid 2000s. I think the cast, the characters are really good. It's not like one of those films you have like some bland characters you don't really care about. But yeah, man, I think the cast, the characters did a great job carrying on this movie. The whole effects and everything. Pretty creepy moments in here too, man. I think anyone would enjoy this movie. Even if you're not even like a horror fan, I think people would get something out of this film. But and I think you even have like one of the guys from the Friday the 13th remake in here. But yeah, man, House of Wax definitely had to make my top 2 because I always find myself enjoying this movie every time I watch it. I actually rewatched it not too long ago. But yeah, that's my number 2, House of Wax. Gotta check out the original soon. Now, my number 1 favorite horror movie remake of all time, shouldn't be no surprise, The Fly. The Fly, man, is just one of those movies that I've always enjoyed. I remember watching it for the first time on AMC. It was like on TV, and it really had me stuck on the TV, man. You know, there's another one that really reminds me of the 80s, the 90s, you know, the practical effects and stuff like that. Great job, man. Great story. Great performances in here as well, man. Even the score, pretty creepy shit in here, man. This is such a great classic film, in my opinion. The best remake of all time. Of course, right behind, you know, The Thing, Night of the Living Dead and stuff like that. But yeah, man, The Fly, definitely, in my opinion, has stood the test of time. And I think they made a sequel to the remake. I really am not sure, but I gotta look into that. But yeah, guys, I mean, The Fly, one of the best remakes out there for sure. But yeah, man, that was my top 10 horror movie remakes of all time. Make sure you guys comment down below, man. I would like to see your favorite remakes of all time. Let me know if I missed out on any. I'm always up for recommendations. I know The Blob is such a great remake, which I actually haven't seen. I've seen it once, but I really don't recall it as much. So that's why I didn't make the list. But I heard that's a really great remake that is definitely in the top 5s. But yeah, guys, tell me what you guys think. Thank you guys for watching. Stay tuned for more videos. Like I said, I will be doing probably a top 10 worst remakes, which should be interesting. Can't wait to do that. But yeah, guys, thank you guys for watching. Stay tuned for more videos. Mr. Michael Myers signing out.